What's going on, everybody? Fast Action Blades here. Just going to be doing a little knife throwing tutorial. Basically this is for the traditional spin throw style. The first thing that we're going to go over is basically you need to get a set of knives. If you don't have a knife to throw, you can learn how to stand, you can learn how to grip a knife, whatever. If you don't have a knife to actually throw, what good is it? So there's a couple of roads you can take. You can start with a larger knife. Basically, if you want to save some money, you're probably going to want to end up throwing larger knives, so you can just start there if you want to, or you can start the way I did with smaller knives and work your way up to larger knives. I think it's probably easier to learn the technique of throwing with a little bit smaller knife, and then you'll be able to throw the larger knives a little bit easier. So anyways, I think a good set to start with would probably be something cheap, like maybe a perfect point set somewhere in the range of 8 to 10 inches or so, somewhere around there. I started with around 6 inches, but I think that's a little bit small anyway, so you might want to start around the 8 to 10 inch range, and just a cheap set, like I said, perfect point, something like that, if you end up breaking them, it's not going to be a huge deal. So I'll just show you a couple of knives that I use and have used to start throwing, a couple of cheap sets that I picked up, so here they are. Alright, so on the left there we have the Delta Defenders. Those are 10 inches in length, and those are a pretty cheap set to pick up on eBay, something like that. I think you can get them on Buds or any of those little websites there. You can get them pretty cheap. And on the right here is a set of Perfect Point Shark. They are a little bit more expensive than the Delta Defenders, but still you can pick up a set of Perfect Points for under 20 bucks easy. And anyway, this one here is a 9 inch, an 8 inch, and a 7 inch knife. And if you end up breaking these, it's not going to be the end of the world, I guess. So alright, well, now that we've got some knives to throw, let's learn how to stand. Okay, for your stance, I am a right-handed thrower, so I put my left foot forward, right foot to the back. If you're left-handed, you're probably going to reverse that with your right foot forward and your left foot back. And unless, it's basically comes down to comfort as well. If you're not comfortable with that, you have to figure out what's comfortable for you. This is what works for me. So anyways, you put your opposite foot forward from your throwing arm and put your other foot back. And normally I have a little bit of a crouch in my stance. And you throw. Not bad. Nice throw. So then basically you just move backward or forward, depending on how your knife is hitting. You just have to see how it's hitting the board and move accordingly, trial and error, and then you can set your markers from there. So anyways, now that we've covered your feet position, let's go over how to grip the knife. Okay, for a knife like this, it's pretty much flat all around. It's a small knife. You're probably going to want to use a pinch grip, if you're throwing from the blade, you're going to want to hold it in your hand like that. So you're basically just pinching the end of the blade in your thumb and your forefinger there. You just pinch, hold it tightly, pull back, and throw. Anyways, we'll just go into the throwing motion in just a moment. So, if you, and well, I guess, sorry, let's go over the other side. If you're throwing from the handle, you know, a knife like this, it's flat, like I said, and you're basically going to do the same thing. You're just going to do a pinch grip on the handle. Some people say it's good to have your thumb pointing straight out with the knife. You know, sometimes it might be a little bit crooked like that. It all depends on, you know, what feels comfortable. That feels pretty comfortable for me. Alright, so if you're using a larger knife, and if you were going to pick up a larger set over a smaller set to try and save some money in the long run, we've got this cold steel piece here. This is the Perfect Balance thrower. This is a 13.25 inch roughly, I believe. It's fairly heavy, very heavy in comparison to the Perfect Point. And for this one here, if you're throwing from the handle, this one's more of a hammer grip. You're basically just going to hold it like that and throw it. And it's a little bit different if you're throwing from the blade. This one here, it's got a dull side here that you can grip. So basically you would hold it in your hand like this, and you're just going to move it in your hand, you know, how it feels comfortable for you. So that just goes in your hand like that, across your palm like that, and you just throw like that. Alright, so anyways, let's get down to the throwing motion. We've learned how to stand with our feet. We've learned how to hold the knife. So let's learn how to actually throw it. Now we'll just go over the stance. You got the footing. Left foot forward, right foot back if you're right-handed. Reverse it if you're left-handed. Got the knife, pinch grip. Now for me, I like to put an arm out in front of me when I throw. You know, the target's in front of me. I'll stand like that. The knife is up, basically perfectly straight. The throw follows through, just like that. So, I don't know, you gotta find what's comfortable for you. Some people don't like to put their hand out in front of them. I feel it helps, especially with aiming. Putting my hand out in front, kind of just, you know, towards where I'm throwing. And like I said, holding the knife perfectly straight, like that. And you throw and you release. You just gotta find you gotta find your release point. And you'll know if you're throwing high or low. You just got to adjust accordingly. So anyways, that's about it. So it's kind of a forward motion, throwing like that. Try and give a toss on the board here. So that's pretty much my sweet spot for the throw. If your knife is pointing up like that, then basically you know you gotta move a little bit forward. If your knife is pointing downward like that, then you know you just have to move a little bit back. So you just find your marker and you'll be good to hit it. So anyways, let's have a couple of throws here. Not bad. Let's just do a couple more throws. Anyways, basically we've covered how to stand, we covered how to grip the knife, we covered how to throw the knife. I guess one thing I forgot to mention, basically all I'm doing in here is a half spin throw. We covered throwing from the blade. I showed you how to hold the knife from the handle. Basically it works if you're doing a half spin, you're holding from the blade, you're doing a full spin, it's from the handle. And 1.5 is back to blade, 2 spins is handle, and it just keeps going like that. And you just basically have to find your markers, just keep trying, keep throwing, and you know, eventually you'll get some consistent sticks. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and you have yourselves a great day. If there's any questions, drop a line in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.